Hello, everyone, and welcome to Poor Unfortunate Podcast. I'm Caroline Ameti, and welcome to a brand new episode of Caroline What's New, our bi-weekly mini episode series where we talk about all of the latest and greatest in Disney news. This episode is being recorded on August 9th, 2024, and you may notice that I'm alone today. Conor is not here, but he's doing something really exciting. He is in Chicago, back playing Dr. Zach Hudgens on NBC's Chicago Med. So please, everybody tune in to the premiere on September 25th at 8/7 Central. It will also be streaming the next day on Peacock if you have Peacock. And let's support our guy as he's back on network TV. I will never stop being so proud of him and so happy that I can hold down the fort while he's doing his thing. So another big piece of news, let's start with the fact that this weekend is the D23 Expo in Anaheim. So as always, we know there are going to be really major updates. So get ready for us to cover everything in a future episode. Maybe it'll be one of these Caroline What's New, but I have a feeling we're going to get some really big announcements. So we might have to dedicate a full-length episode to the news coming out of D23. So please stay tuned for that. So let's talk about everything that's going on outside of D23. Let's start with the Disney parks, as we usually do. So the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival returns to Walt Disney World on August 29th and will run through November 23rd. Some new booths have been announced, so we will definitely chat food in a future news episode once we get some of those menus. And today is actually a really big day for spooky season in the parks as well. So fall decor went up about 2 days ago in Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, whether we like it or not. And today is the first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party event of the season. It's so crazy to me to think about walking around Magic Kingdom in a Halloween costume right now and hearing Boo to You. As much as we know, I love it. It just feels so early. But Walt Disney World also announced over 40 Halloween treats that arrived for spooky season today. Things like a skull maple blondie, a seance candle push pop, and merchandise like Minnie Mouse as a Winifred Sanderson sipper. Amazing. I've also heard great things about the Haunted Mansion beignets from Port Orleans French Quarter. So just so you know, even though they're rolling out some really fantastic limited snacks and merchandise in the parks, the resorts also get a lot of great things as well. So if you're going there, if you're going down to Walt Disney World or Disneyland, check out what's happening at the resorts as well. And of course, also on the fall front, Disneyland is once again slaying the game with their Halloween snacks and merch announcement. And this is absolutely no shade to Walt Disney World, but I can't explain exactly why. I always feel a little bit more drawn to what's released in Disneyland. I guess the same way that I always feel a lot more interested in the Oogie Boogie Bash versus Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, but be that as it may. This year's offerings in Disneyland include Mickey and Tow Mater popcorn buckets, a Mickey pumpkin sipper, a llama poison glow cube from the Emperor's New Groove, which is an absolute need for me, and like more delicious food than I could even begin to describe. There's like cheesy bratwurst, macarons, beignets, a pumpkin version of the gray stuff, and a new Hatbox Ghost sipper also debuted yesterday in Disneyland. So just a million different ways to spend your money, and it's a good thing that I'm not there to do that. Moving on to Disney Plus news. So speaking of D23, the 2024 Disney Legends ceremony that will be happening this weekend will be available to stream on Disney Plus starting Monday, August 12th. It was also announced that as of October 17th, Disney Plus monthly and annual plans will be getting yet another price increase in an effort to make streaming a profitable division of Disney. Disney Plus ad-supported plans will increase from $8 to $10 monthly, and ad-free plans will increase from $14 to $16 monthly, and $140 to $160 annually. So Hulu, ESPN Plus, and their bundles will also see price increases this fall. And with the new pricing, Disney will also be giving Disney Plus subscribers access to ABC News Live and a new, very interesting feature, continuous curated playlist. This starts on September 4th that will stream existing content from Disney. So not unlike cable, watching cable. The first playlist will be geared toward preschool programming. with additional categories to include seasonal programming, epic stories like Star Wars and Marvel, throwbacks to older films and programs, and a real life category. So, like, think National Geographic content. In September, Disney Plus will be rolling out a paid sharing feature that will allow you to share your subscription with users outside of your household. So they began testing this feature in June outside of the US, but offered no timeline previously of when to expect it. And, it doesn't feel super cool that they're doing this immediately before all of the plans are set to increase. So, get a friend of yours hooked on Disney Plus and then the price is going to go up. What can you do? Listen, as we always say, if you love something, you got to be able to look at it critically, criticize it when needed. And we have more to say about that in a moment. So, moving on to Disney films, this past week I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. Very interesting choice for me. My mom wanted to go of all people, so we went. I'm not usually the girl who's going to rush to movie theaters to see Marvel, and I'm not like a big Deadpool gal either. I know the tone of it, so I knew what to expect. Mm, I don't really have anything to say. I didn't really need to do that, but I did. And a lot of other people did as well, because the box office has already crossed the $900 million mark worldwide and has surpassed Captain Marvel to become the number 8 all-time MCU release, and I expect that it will keep climbing. For some other Disney film news, it was announced that Disney is committing to investing at least $5 billion in production across the UK and Europe over the next 5 years. So lots of big films like Star Wars and Marvel have utilized Pinewood Studios in the UK, and Disney is going to continue moving more productions to film there. It's been framed as largely positive, and honestly, like, if you're not super familiar with the workings of the entertainment industry, it's probably like, great, cool, a lot of things film in the UK already. Um, but let's not pretend that this isn't coming off of a historic strike between the WGA and SAG-AFTRA from last summer, an ongoing video game strike for SAG-AFTRA that's happening right now, and some tense negotiations with the IATSE, who represent film crew workers and Teamsters over the past few months and the year for Disney. It feels kind of union dodgy, especially because last summer during the SAG strike, one of the threats that the producers utilized was, hey, if you can't come to an agreement, if you won't meet our terms, we'll just move production overseas and you won't have jobs at all. So it doesn't feel amazing to hear that. And for some little miscellaneous news to close us out, I'm going to be talking all about the Disney Destiny, people, because it has captured my attention, my imagination, everything. We got a bunch of updates about this ship. So this ship is going to start sailing in November 2025 with Disney Cruise Line. And as we've talked about previously on here, the ship's theme will be heroes and villains. So what we found out is we're getting a lot of Marvel on this ship. The Black Panther, so King T'Challa, will be the ship's atrium statue, with Spider-Man on the ship's stern. A first-of-its-kind Doctor Strange-inspired lounge, the Sanctum, will join favorites returning from other ships, a World of Marvel restaurant, and a Marvel Superhero Academy. Now on to some really, really exciting villain features of this ship. We love villains. So each Disney cruise ship with an Aquamouse water coaster on board has its own short that plays on the ride. Well, the Disney Destiny short is going to be villain themed. It's going to be called Sing a Silly Song, and it will star Mickey and Minnie coming face to face with villains like the Queen of Hearts, Chernabog, and Scar on Villain Mountain. It will feature an original soundtrack and be one of 4 shows available on this Aquamouse. How amazing is that? That sounds like so much fun. This is kind of like the first villains ride that we're getting that I feel like so many people have been asking for forever. How cool. The ship will also be home to Cruella de Vil's Piano Lounge. It will have a Hollywood-inspired aesthetic, a Dalmatian-spotted piano, and it will draw inspiration from both 101 Dalmatians and the live-action Cruella film. How freaking fabulous. May I also remind you that this is the same ship with the much discussed by us Haunted Mansion parlor and the recently announced Cask and Cannon, a Pirates of the Caribbean themed bar. Oh yeah, and one more thing, actually not one more, a couple more things. This ship will have a brand new dinner show called Prideland's Feast of the Lion King. It will have live musicians and performers in full Lion King costume, performing songs from the film and new mashups. I saw the concept art. It looks stunning. And we're also getting these two walk-up cafes on the ship, Cafe Megara and Cafe Merida. And I know. We joke almost every episode at this point that we're going on a cruise. But I would like to formally announce that I have started doing some real earnest pricing research, and I plan to present my findings to Conor when I see him, which is very soon, because I'm just saying, how cool would it be if we could be on one of the Destiny's first voyages? I'm just saying, wouldn't you all want to hear about that? Help us out. All right, everyone, that's it. Like I said, we will be back to talk about D23 updates with you super soon. In the meantime, please remember to hit follow and subscribe wherever you are listening to the podcast. Please follow us on social media. We are at Poor Unfortunate Podcast on any social media platform pretty much. And we will be back with a full-length tips and tricks episode for you all next. Thank you so much for listening to this solo episode. Can't wait to be back with Conor. And until then, Beluga Sabruga.